Hi, guys.
Hey.
I should have not moved my chair while I said that.
That's my chair noise.
We are here with a Tuesday episode.
I'm really excited. Megan's already texted me and said,
Oh, yeah.
can't wait. So.
It's one of those where I've talked to my three of my best friends this morning. I couldn't tell you because it's the episode.
Yeah.
But everybody else, I've been like, listen to this.
Listen to this nonsense.
So we, it's 4th of July, and I did not even think about this.
This is how patriotic Megan is.
When I chose the episode.
Olive.
When I
over here.
Look at her. Look how big she's getting.
I know. I can't handle it.
When I chose this episode topic, it is about Benjamin Franklin.
That's how patriotic.
I didn't plan it. I didn't even consider. I didn't realize, because I never know what day it is.
Yeah.
And this morning it hit me like, holy crap, this is going to come out on July 4th.
Yay!
So happy Independence Day.
There you go.
We're talking about a founding father. Also, just to give you a heads up, there will be no new episode this Friday, July 7th, probably. Whatever the Friday is after July 4th.
Sure is.
And no new episode next Tuesday. We're going to take a little break since it's a holiday week. And as we've mentioned, everything's chaotic right now.
Yes.
So there'll be a little break. Don't be worried. Hi, Olive.
She said, I really need that microphone.
I just want to eat the microphone.
You ready, Olive, for a story?
Olive, listen, there are parts of this story that are so inappropriate for you, but we're going to go with it. You should get used to hearing Aunt Megan say inappropriate things. We're recording a YouTube video today, which is something we haven't done in a while, because in the last recording space, we had to set up so many things around us that we couldn't video.
You couldn't. No.
So we're getting used to being a live
Bath
video
towels,
on YouTube again.
Foam cushions.
Yeah, if you were in Instagram, we showed you guys. It was like a cardboard box and towels, and it was ridiculous. But it worked.
Good.
We just set up a little
It was so good.
homemade sound booth. Look at how long her eyelashes are.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
You're so cute. Okay, before Benjamin Franklin came across the pond.
BBF. Before
BBF?
Yeah.
It's a whole other thing. Came across the pond to become one of America's founding fathers. He lived in London, England. 36 Craven Street was his address. So let's just...
She does not like that.
I know. I understand. Ready? I eat it. I'm going to eat it. This is the beauty of the YouTube video. You get to see so much cute Olive content. Okay. So before Benjamin Franklin came across the pond to become one of America's founding fathers, he lived in London, England, at 36 Craven Street.
Okay.
So let's just learn a little bit about Ben Franklin for fun.
For funsies.
We're here for history.
Yeah.
That won't work.
Wow.
Baby girl.
She's got to face her fans.
Yeah. God, look at her, though. Wouldn't you? You gotta watch her in the mirror.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Okay. Before Benjamin Franklin, working mothers, okay? You got to do it all. Let's just learn a little bit about Ben Franklin.
Too sad.
I'm into it. Ben
She
Franklin,
loves it.
let's go. He was born in Boston in 1706
Okay.
to an American mother and a British father. And he lived in London as a chief colonial diplomat for nearly 20 years.
Oh.
He's considered the father of electricity. He invented a flexible urinary catheter,
Oh.
bifocals. I don't want to think about it too hard.
No.
And a style of wooden swim fins.
That's a... We're all over the board here.
Curious face.
We're all over the board.
Okay. He established the first formally organized all-volunteer fire department in the American colonies.
So that's cool.
He's the only statesman, I didn't know this, to sign all 4 documents that created the United States.
I did know that.
Declaration of Independence, the Treaty of Alliance with France, the Treaty of Paris, and the Constitution. He's the only one that signed all 4.
Yeah.
He was also apparently a well-known philanderer.
He was.
And the article said he even complained about his libido in print. And you know me, I'm like, oh, he did. Did he?
Did he?
Let's Google that. So
He did? This is noted.
that sentence led me down a rabbit hole that we're going to discuss at the end. because I can't not talk about the things that I've read about Ben Franklin now.
Oh.
And I need you to hear them. But first, I'm going to tell you the little mystery I have for you.
A monocle.
I don't know what kind of... Listen, he got down, okay? Okay. First.
This is great.
Oh, also, he liked to drink. In
Okay.
1737, he wrote and published The Drinker's Dictionary,
Stop.
which is composed of hundreds of slang terms for saying that a man is drunk.
Oh my gosh.
Like, apparently that's all the book is. It's
I
just
love
all the
this
different
even
ways. All the different ways you can be like, that person is toasted.
Waisty pants.
Waisty pants. I bet that's not even in there.
Oh, dang.
Poor Ben.
Man, he didn't even know.
And maybe my new favorite fact, he's known to have taken what he called air baths. It's where he would just open his windows and stand around naked. Like, he didn't care who saw. He was just like proudly
just let the
like,
wind take over.
I'm Ben Franklin.
And I've been bathed by the air.
What?
I created swim fins.
And flexible urinary catheter. So today, 36 Craven Street is the only remaining home of Benjamin Franklin, and it's been open to the public since 2006 as a museum and educational facility.
Okay.
So this story you might have seen because somebody posted it in the Facebook group, and another friend of mine had actually sent me this, I don't know, like a couple years ago. Oh, hey.
Yeah, she's lost her mind.
She's mad.
She's real angry. She wanted to be in the Florida play.
She's just mad that she can't walk and talk yet,
Yeah.
really. That's the main thing. Okay, so of course it took a lot of work to restore 36 Craven Street in order to run it
That's a museum.
right.
Oh, okay.
In 1998, conservationists were doing repairs on the home when they made a startling discovery.
Oh, I remember this. Okay, yeah.
There they are, over 200 years after Benjamin Franklin signed the Declaration of Independence, and they find several bodies
Yes.
buried in a
Yes, yes,
secret
yes.
windowless room beneath the garden at his former home. It was a 1 meter wide, Rachel, and 1 meter deep pit. For us disgusting Americans, 1 meter is like a little over 3 feet. So there were over 1,200 pieces of bone,
Oh my gosh.
totaling anywhere from 15 to 28 bodies, depending on the article. And of those, it said 6 were children, and some articles said infants. So
Okay.
again, not sure
Right.
of the age of the children. Now, you might be thinking this is 200 years later, and a lot of people have lived in that building.
Mm-hmm.
This has nothing to do with Benjamin Franklin, but
It sure does.
it sure does. Forensics
Forensics
showed Forensics showed that the bones dated back to the time when Franklin inhabited the home.
Okay.
So we know for sure
yeah.
they were connected. So what's the deal? Is Benjamin Franklin a murderer?
Serial killer?
Probably not. Further studies show that there were cut marks across the skulls and dissection markings on the bones. So according to a 2003 article in The Guardian, the most likely explanation, although not nearly as fun, is that the bones were part of an anatomy school run by Franklin's friend and protege? Friend and protege William Hewson.
We're so
Hewson.
with
Hewson.
names.
Hewson, probably.
Yeah, probably.
By 1771, Hewson had established himself as an anatomist. He was a fellow of the Royal Society, and in addition to being friends with Ben Franklin, his mother-in-law actually owned the home at 36
Oh.
Craven Street. So she was Benjamin Franklin's landlord. But that would also explain why William Hewson felt totally safe using this home
Yeah.
because he knew the owner and
Yeah.
they're not going to rat him out. So today, Hewson is best known for his study of blood and the lymphatic system.
Oh.
In fact, this is one of the smoking guns that links Hewson to the bodies. In 1770, William Hewson did an experiment where he showed the flow of mercury through a turtle to highlight the lymphatic system. And among the bones that they found at 36 Craven Street,
We're turtles.
a portion of a turtle spine and like a bead of mercury. So they're like, that's him. That's kind of what he did.
Oh.
Of
How
course,
crazy.
I know. And 200 years later, too.
Yeah.
So, of course, this was back in the day when the study of human anatomy was a fairly new thing. and human bodies to study were hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
We've probably all heard of how back in the day, many doctors and scientists who wanted to study the human body had to turn to grave robbing to get specimens to study. And they would either dig up the bodies themselves or they would pay professional grave robbers who were called resurrection men, which is kind of a sick play on words. And procuring bodies didn't become a legal practice until 1832. So 36 Craven Street had a great location for grave robbing. At one end was a cemetery.
Okay,
At the other end was the gallows.
Oh.
So it was very easy.
Just
You didn't have to
hop on
go
over.
far. You could smuggle them in.
Perfect.
And so Houston would smuggle them into the home, use them in his anatomy school. And then when he was done, he would just bury whatever was left right there in the home rather than risk trying to sneak them back out and get caught. So historians think that Franklin probably knew what was going on.
Well, yeah.
And in my opinion, he was probably supportive of it because, he was a big man of science. And he would have been like, anything we have to do, this is important to study. And it was important to study, right? It's just it's weird to say it's okay to rob graves, but it's also a matter of what were the options at the time, right?
Right. Don't do it now. Don't.
Because sometimes if there's necessary things that need to be done, but they're not legal, people find underground ways to do them. That's all I'll say there. That they don't think that Franklin was actually involved himself.
Okay.
But it's hard to imagine that he didn't sometimes sneak down and look around and see, because again,
bud,
he's such a curious guy.
Cheese sandwich?
Right.
What you doing down there?
What's that? So the study of anatomy was kind of dangerous. In 1774, Houston, while he was doing, he was cutting open a body, he contracted septicemia and died.
Oh, gosh.
At 34 years old. Well, even like you talked about with your doctor in the last episode you did.
Everything was just so dirty.
Yeah, they just didn't understand all that stuff yet. And maybe even if they were very careful, just maybe weren't quite as sterile as it could have been.
They didn't understand bloodborne pathogens.
So after Houston died, Franklin wrote to his wife, who is still back in America, saying, "Our family here is in great distress. Our family here is in great distress. Poor Miss Houston has lost her husband, and Miss Stevenson..." Why are there so many S's in these words?
Lots of words.
"Poor Miss Houston has lost her husband and Mrs. Stevenson, her son-in-law. He died last Sunday morning of a fever which baffled the skill of our best physicians. He was an excellent young man, ingenious, industrious, useful, and beloved by all that knew him. She is left with 2 young children and a third soon expected.
Oh, wow.
He was just established in a profitable growing business, which we assume is probably the anatomy thing,
Right.
with the best prospects of bringing up his young family advantageously."
Wow. Words.
And so many,
He's real good
so
at
many
them.
words.
Yeah.
Polly, William's widow, would eventually move with her
adorable.
children. Polly? I know. We should put that on the list because you're going to have another baby. I'm just saying, you're very fertile. Polly, William's widow, would eventually move with her children from London to Philadelphia
Jeez.
to be close to Franklin after the close of the Revolutionary War.
Oh,
So interesting, don't you think?
Yeah.
When Franklin died, she was there at his side. She was at the bedside when he died.
She sure was. Wow.
It makes you wonder about the philandering thing.
Yeah.
Was there something going on between Polly and Franklin?
It's questionable.
There were rumors about that, and there were also rumors about Franklin and Polly's mother, the landlord, the woman who owned 36 Craven Street. But these could just be rumors.
Right. Allegedly.
Because apparently, Kara, Ben Franklin's sex life was pretty spicy.
It was?
It was.
Okay, tell me.
So I think because of the rumors that there were about his sex life, any rumors about him, any closeness he had with any woman was going to be
Ooh.
talk of the town, right? So speaking of this, let's talk about the rabbit hole that I mentioned
I
earlier.
can't wait. Okay, tell me.
Listen, the sentence was, he complained about his own libido in print. So if you Google Benjamin Franklin libido, I just encourage you all to do this. You're going to find so many articles
Oh my gosh.
about Benjamin Franklin loving women, loving sex, loving all of it. He was just
Doing it.
filthy.
Doing it.
Doing it. Well, LL Cool J wrote this song, about
Ben
Benjamin Franklin. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
Thanks.
So, obviously, you guys know I don't care about anybody's sex life as long
You
as
do
it's
you.
consenting adults. Have a good time.
yeah.
But
I
I
don't
just,
want to see it.
I think this is fascinating because picture the guy on the $100 bill. Like, that guy.
Is this guy?
That's who we're talking about. He's a diplomat on the streets and a freak in the sheets. He's a founding daddy. That's my favorite joke I've ever written. There was this one time, a couple years ago, in the Mother Shipton episode. You guys might remember. I made the Humpty song
Yeah.
work.
Oh, God.
We rewrote it for Mother Shipton. Up until today, that was my favorite thing I'd ever said on the podcast.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
But when Founding Daddy popped in my head at 6
said,
o'clock
"I got
this
this."
morning, that's why I had to like text like 3 of my friends and just be like, listen to this. Out loud to myself, giggling. Okay. It's just not something you learn in your textbook.
It sure
Nobody
isn't.
tells you.
It sure isn't.
But that's what I'm here for, to educate.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
There are some people who already knew this. And so
Historical facts.
those of you who did already know this about Benjamin Franklin, congratulations. I did not.
I am now one of you.
And I'm delighted. So apparently, Benjamin Franklin was a heartthrob.
Wow.
Women loved him. But think about it. He had to be really charismatic,
Yeah. He was good with
competent, creative.
Yeah.
He was this big inventor.
Right.
Yeah, he was good with words.
Yeah.
He was a big writer.
Doing all the things everybody knew him.
So he's clearly smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you kind of get it if you stop and
Everybody-
think about it.
Yep.
I just can't get the image of the $100 bill out of my head.
No, that's what I keep thinking. Like the.
So here's a few of the quotes that I've got here. No. So here's a few of the things I learned about him. He was married. You know, I mentioned earlier that he'd written that letter to his wife, but it was like a common law marriage, and it seemed to be more about convenience. He didn't seem to be...
He looks like he's thinking about it.
The way... Listen, I feel a little uncomfortable about the way he's looking at me right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, look at those.
Google the $100 bill, you guys, or if you're
Look
very
at that.
lucky, pull one out of your pocket. I don't know that life. But like, and just let him look at it. It feels creepy. It feels creepy. I don't like it.
Can't do my lips like that.
It just makes me want to cover up. Okay. So he did not seem to be particularly attracted to his wife. At one point, he compared her body to a beer bottle, which doesn't sound flattering at all. I don't know. But it's got curves.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Yeah. What?
I don't think he meant it in a positive way.
Okay. Wow.
They lived separately for 17 years. And at the end of her life, she had a stroke and he didn't even come back.
Oh.
Yeah. Like he was still across the pond and he didn't even come home to be with her before she died.
Oh, dang.
When I read a little bit more about that, it seemed like it was kind of a mutually beneficial arrangement for her too. So maybe she wouldn't have even expected him to
Yeah.
come back. I think they both,
Moved on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some historians believe he was a member of the Medmenham monks, also known as the Hellfire Club, when he lived in London. This was a group of libertine men who were known for their perverse sexual proclivities and their rejection of religious constraints. So
What?
it was like an underground sex club, so they can't confirm. This is all allegedly. P.S. Listen, also, if you're my mom,
Don't listen.
stop
to
this. Turn it off. If you know my mom,
Or my mom. Well, I
Don't-
know my mom will think it's funny, so it's fine.
since we can't confirm, it's not like they have a list of the members anywhere.
It's just a legend.
But historians do point out that Franklin had close friendships with some of the club's most notorious members,
Who are they?
including its founder, Francis Dashwood. Dashwood. His name's Dashwood. Here's the thing. If you've ever looked at Poor Richard's Almanac, this is back in like Puritan times.
Right.
And Poor Richard's Almanac it has a religious tone to it. So publicly, Ben Franklin spoke about upstanding morality and values, right? In his autobiography, he described 13 virtues that every decent man should live by, noting that men should rarely indulge in sex but for health or offspring, never to dullness, weakness, or the injury of your own or another's peace or reputation. Privately, allegedly,
He did not
follow that advice at all.
He preached.
When he first moved to London in 1724, he was a regular in the red light district, a habit that he kept up into the later years of his life. His biographer, Karl van Doren, said in his morning litany, he could pray to be kept from lasciviousness, but when night came, lust might come with it. He went to women hungrily, secretly, and briefly. In case this is coming out like I'm shaming him, please know that I'm not.
No. Just
love
the fact that
this.
All of this is here.
Well, for one, it's like he's human.
Yeah.
It's just funny. You don't think about historical people. Of course, he's a man. He's a human.
It's been said that Hamilton and all those guys were...
Yeah. Couldn't say no to this. Yeah.
Couldn't say no to anyone.
So, I guess I just enjoy the reminder that, like, everybody's just human. Yeah. And nobody gets to be up on a pedestal. There's
nobody's perfect.
Right. Everybody's multifaceted.
Right.
So Franklin...
Does that mean we're all polymaths?
We are. Franklin was in the newspaper business for many years of his life and may have been one of America's first advice columnists.
How cool.
In 1745, Franklin wrote an essay. Let me make sure we're still recording because you know how I worry about that. Right. In 1745, Franklin wrote an essay in response to a young man who asked him about how to best tame his sexual appetite. The essay was titled, Advice to a Young Man on the Choice of a Mistress.
Oh.
Here's what he said.
Okay.
In all your amours, you should prefer old women to young ones. Mm-hmm. He also wrote, the pleasure of corporal enjoyment with an old woman is at least equal and frequently superior, every knack being by practice capable of improvement. I read that and I was like, yeah, heck yeah. But then the next part says, according to Franklin, older women are, quote, so grateful. They're just so happy to be wanted. You should just go for them. They're just so thankful.
They just...
Shut up, Ben Franklin. Franklin penned hundreds of love letters. Franklin penned hundreds of love letters to his current and previous lovers, many of which have survived to this day, giving historians a glimpse into the often dirty mind of this great American founding father.
Gosh.
These letters contained reminiscences of past encounters, details of plans for future encounters.
Stop it.
And naughty poems or verses. I tried real hard to find some.
Yeah.
I did kind of find a couple articles, but they were behind a paywall. So I feel like if we had time to really dig into it, we could probably find a few of Benjamin Franklin's love letters. And if any of you all happen to do that, post them in the Facebook group.
Yeah, we need to know.
So the part where it said he complained about his libido in print, I think this is what that is. This is a direct quote from one of the articles. All the articles are in the show notes. After living a life of debauchery and sexual excess, Franklin may have come to regret his promiscuous past. In his autobiography, he wrote, that hard-to-be-governed passion of youth had hurried me frequently into intrigues with low women that fell in my way. So he was basically upset that he didn't have more self-control, it sounds like.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe regretted some of the choices he'd made. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
So those are things I did not know about Benjamin Franklin. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Getting it.
Founding daddy. It's a shirt. Can we find like a picture of Benjamin Franklin put founding daddy? It's a sticker.
So now anytime I need anybody after any sexual encounter you have to say it's giving founding father.
I'm just going to call you Ben Franklin. Oh, God. Okay. That's it for today. Happy Independence Day.
Yes.
Remember that the founding fathers were just humans.
Nobody's perfect.
Okay, we love you.
So much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. That was so good.